Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending upon where you are. My name is Heather Courtney. I am the CEO and founder of Alwyn Capital. I started this journey as a biochemist and did biochemical research after graduating from University of Florida with a biochemistry degree. I've been plant-based for 25 years and making our world a better place and improving the lives of animals is part of my life's mission. So in 2018, I founded Alwyn Capital, and my partner Robert and I have been investing in the food and agriculture space for 5 years. At Alwyn Capital, we back biotech changemakers that are solving our world's most pressing problems. But since this is a food tech talk, I'm going to focus on our approach to our food system. So here at Alwyn Capital, we back biotech changemakers of all kinds. But as you know, we are at the intersection of some of the greatest global challenges colliding all at once. We're facing climate change, water shortage, food insecurity, antibiotic resistance, and slow drug development times. The question we face as a global population is, how do we sustainably feed, clothe, and care for the nearly 10 billion people that will inhabit our planet by 2030? And the answer to that question and solutions to these problems are not what a lot of people think. Recycling and electrification is just not enough to solve our climate crisis, and watering our lawns only on Sundays is not enough to preserve our water resources. The core problem we face is that our reliance on animals as a means of production is inefficient, unsustainable, and inhumane. In the food system alone, we face a number of challenges. 1/3 of human-produced greenhouse gas emissions are created by animal agriculture. It takes 1,800 gallons of water to produce just 1 pound of beef. By comparison, producing 1 pound of soybeans takes only 206. And that water use is reflected in the production of leather as well. But again, this is a food tech talk, so I'll focus on our food system. The UN has deemed antibiotic resistance as the #1 threat to human life, and 70% of our antibiotic resources are used in animal agriculture. The most valuable companies of our times will be ones that are solving humanity's greatest problems. At Alwyn, we see reinventing the largest systems of production as a way to save our planet and create tremendous financial returns. We look for companies who leverage biotechnology to reinvent our food, fashion, and pharmaceutical industries. And in the food system, that means reinventing meat, dairy, seafood, and eggs through alternative proteins. Alternative proteins can be broken down into 4 categories: plant-based innovations, fermentation-enabled technology, molecular farming, and cultivated meat. Plant-based innovations are probably the category that most of you are familiar with. Likely you've seen a Beyond Burger at the grocery store, and many of you may opt for oat milk, I hope, in your morning coffee instead of dairy. Plant-based innovations leverage raw ingredients from plants to create meat-like textures. The standard process that most plant-based companies currently use is called high moisture extrusion. High moisture extrusion uses high temperature and pressures to create fibrous textures of animal meat from plant-based ingredients. But recently, the team at Alwyn has seen innovations in texturization techniques and processes that don't require high temperature and pressure. They have the ability to provide plant-based alternatives with more delicate and differentiated textures. And we've even seen one company that has been able to create a raw plant-based fillet that looks and cooks just like raw meat. Fermentation can be broken down into 3 categories. Traditional fermentation is one that you're probably all familiar with. It's how beer gets made. And traditional fermentation uses microbes to process plant-based ingredients. A great example of this is tempeh, which uses fungus to ferment soybeans. There are also companies using traditional fermentation in new ways, though. For example, Mycotechnology's fermentation of plant-based proteins improve their flavor and functionality of their products. Biomass fermentation uses microbes themselves as the end products. This biomass serves as the main ingredient of a food product or as one of several primary ingredients in a blend. Examples of of biomass fermentation are corn, the brand, corn, and meaty's use of filamentous fungi as their base for their products. Precision fermentation is the category that has garnered probably the most investment attention in the last year. It uses microbial hosts as cell factories for producing specific functional ingredients. But at the end of this process, the microbe itself is filtered out. These ingredients typically require greater purity than the primary protein ingredients of biomass fermentation, and they're incorporated at much lower levels. These functional ingredients can improve sensory characteristics and functional attributes of plant-based products, just to make them more delicious or more like animal counterparts. Precision fermentation is currently used widely in the food and pharmaceutical industries to create products like insulin and rennet for cheese making. It can produce enzymes, vitamins, natural pigments, and fats. Examples in food tech include Perfect Day's dairy proteins, Clara Foods' egg proteins, and the Impossible Food heme protein. The investment industry is particularly excited about the promise of precision fermentation and its potential to produce casein for plant-based cheese offerings, which will create a vegan cheese that stretches, browns, and melts just like dairy cheese. Molecular farming uses plants as a bioreactor to create animal-based ingredients. Like precision fermentation, these ingredients are incorporated at lower levels into the end product and improve functional characteristics. What makes molecular farming particularly exciting is the advantage of using plants as a production platform does not require sterility like cell-based approaches do. But the challenge here is the purification of the target protein at the end of the process. Like precision fermentation, molecular farming holds promise to create real dairy proteins in a new way, which would revolutionize the vegan cheese category, a category that so far has seen limited adoption in the flexitarian market. And then everyone's favorite, cultivated meat. This is the process of creating real meat from animal cells through cell culture. Cell culture is a widely used and well-established technology, and there are a number of companies who have applied this to creating meat products. We've seen chicken, beef, pork, and seafood all created in the lab and eaten at various tasting events across the globe. But the challenge facing this industry as a whole is reaching scale large enough to feed a significant number of people and to bring down the cost of production. When cultivated meat does reach this scale, creating meat in this way will consume far less water and arable land than traditional animal agriculture. It will not require the use of antibiotics, and because cell culture doesn't require grazing land, bioreactors can be set up near city centers to cut down on the cost and the environmental impact of transportation, just as Upside Foods has already done. So revolutionizing our food system may seem like a big task, but the transition is already happening in the marketplace. I'm sure many of you have seen plant-based offerings at grocery stores and fast food restaurants. And partnerships are being built between startups and industry giants, which shows that even the largest players are ready for change. Products are already on the shelves, and the younger generation of consumers are asking for more innovation and more choices. 5 of the largest global meat producers have all created their own plant-based lines, and 4 of the 5 of them are invested in cultivated meat. Perfect Day's precision fermentation-based dairy is in the market with multiple ice cream brands. Dunkin' Donuts, Burger King, McDonald's, and KFC have all launched plant-based offerings on their menus. The market for alternative proteins reached $14.8 billion in 2021, according to Bloomberg, and it's projected to grow to $162 billion by 2030. This will increasingly take the market share of the $1.7 trillion global meat market. And as new innovations make products better, and as younger generations of consumers seeking transparency and sustainability in their food systems start to make purchasing decisions, we think that projection will continue to grow. Investment opportunities in alternative proteins are attracting the attention of very large players. Investment in the industry has grown year over year, but there is still room for innovation in the marketplace as there's no clear winner yet. So if you're interested in a high growth sector with the potential to shape our future for the better, getting involved in alternative proteins should be something that you consider. If any of you would like to talk further, please send me an email. I'm happy to chat or tell you more about our investment approach. Thank you so much.